land. So this, what we understand from the Quran, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promoting, is that a person, if he has desires, he should fulfill his desires through marriage. If a person misses this point, if a person misunderstands this, what will happen? Then corruption will erupt in our society. Now, for example, the second point that we were going to discuss today. Now, a person has desires. Every person has these carnal desires. If we do not control these carnal desires, what could happen to our society? Or if we do control our carnal desires, what can happen to our society? More or less, what effect do our carnal desires play on our society? Now, carnal desires, what effect they play on the society? Our society can be split into four different categories, or four groups. The first is a person who decides to fulfill his desires with the same gender. وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. Okay? Therefore, our society will result in a homosexual society. We'll have gays and lesbians. The second group are those people who wish to fulfill their desires with the opposite gender, but they will fulfill their desires with those who they have not married outside wedlock. Therefore, a promiscuous society, a society in which adultery is common. The second type. The third society is that society in which a person in the community will only fulfill their desires after marriage. A society which is based on marriage, on nikah. The third society. The fourth society is a mix, in which there's homosexuals living there. At the same time, there are adultery is promoted in the society. Also, there's nothing against marriage. So all three of these societies exist in this fourth category. So now we have four categories. The first is homosexual society. Now we see in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, plant your seed in the land where you can gain something back from it. And a homosexual can never gain anything back from where he plants his seed. So therefore this is impermissible through the light of the Quran. First thing. Okay? So that society has no benefit. Okay? The second society, and the people in the past who acted upon this, or who did such acts, what happened to these people? The Quran clearly says. Sometimes people say, oh, Islam promotes homosexuality. Islam does not promote this at all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran clearly says, كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ لُوطٍ الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِذْ قَالَ لَهُمْ أَخُوهُمْ لُوطٌ أَلَا تَتَّقُونَ إِنِّي لَكُمْ رَسُولٌ أَمِينٌ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونِ وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَىٰ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And then the Quran carries on, أَتَأْتُونَ الذُّكْرَانَ مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ وَتَذَرُونَ مَا خَلَقَ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُم مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ بَلْ أَنْتُمْ قَوْمٌ عَادُونَ. Hazrat Lut alayhi salam, the Prophet Lut, he came to his people and he said to them, كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ لُوطٍ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. The people of Lut, they rejected their Prophet. And what happened? What did Lut alayhi salam say to them? إِذْ قَالَ لَهُمْ لُوطٌ أَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Lut alayhi salam said to his people that don't you fear Allah? إِنِّي لَكُمْ رَسُولٌ أَمِينٌ. I am a messenger sent to you. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُونَ. Fear Allah and follow me. وَمَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ مِنْ أَجْرٍ إِنْ أَجْرِيَ إِلَّا عَلَىٰ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. I do not ask for you to pay me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who will reward me. And then he said to the people, أَتَأْتُونَ الذُّكْرَانَ مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. Why do you come to the same gender? وَتَذَرُونَ مَا خَلَقَ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُم مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُم. And you reject and you leave that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created from the opposite gender, your spouses. بَلْ أَنْتُمْ قَوْمٌ عَادُونَ. Indeed, you are the transgressing people. You are the ones who transgress. So Islam clearly condemns this. Islam does not promote this at all. First, okay. So the first society, and if you look through history in the books that were or as they were referred to by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the pious predecessors, the books. If we refer to the books that were revealed by Allah subhanahu wa taala to the prophets, in no book was this ever promoted. In no book was this ever promoted. In no book was such an act ever acceptable. So the first society has no place for this, okay? The second society in which a person can fulfill his desires before marriage. Now apparently this society looks very good. Apparently it seems very good and smooth and easy. That all I need to do is find anyone and fulfill my desires and move on. Why should I take care of them? Why should I pay for them? Why should I marry them? In the Indian Pakistani society, why should I take the cost of $60,000 to marry someone? Our marriages, how much do they cost? No less than $60,000. I was in Saudi Arabia and I asked the brother who was driving me from Makkah to Jeddah. I asked him that in America marriages are very expensive. How much do marriages cost here? He said here it costs $150,000. I said $150,000 considering the exchange rate too. What do you guys eat, gold? It makes no sense. So here now this person thinking that why should I take care of someone? Why should I give provide shelter for someone? Why should I provide clothing and food for someone? What's the purpose for all this? Why not just have a desire? Why don't I just go fulfill it and then walk away and go my way? They can go their way. The child will come. The human race will carry on until the day of judgment. Now apparently this seems very nice and smooth. Seems very nice. Apparently, again. But again, a person who is a little wise, who has a little speck of a little wisdom, he can realize the disadvantages of such a society. The disadvantages of such a society are beyond imagination. Yes, people will fulfill their sexual desires. Okay, a person will fulfill sexual desires, but he will be emotionally deprived. Emotionally, this person will be deprived. The care and the love that a wife or the spouse can provide for one another, a one-night stand can't provide them. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. That the purpose we created you into pairs, and we promote a marriage for one person to marry the other, is so you can give sukoon, you can give peace and tranquility to one another. So you can love one another. You can live a life of joy. Now, if the wife is facing some problem, the husband is there to support her. If the husband is facing some problem, the wife is there to support her. The purpose of their marriage is to help each other, help one another. If one facing a difficulty, the other is there to support. And the second thing, the second disadvantage of such a society is that in a society in which, marriage isn't necessary, and a person just wishes to fulfill his desire wherever he wants to, what happens then is a person becomes obsessed with this carnal desire, just as a person gets obsessed with cars. We don't have any limitation to cars, that you drive one Corolla and you have to stick with this Corolla for the rest of your life. You can change your car whenever you want to. Now there are those of us who stick to a car and are very loyal to their companies, Polo only, or only, a Rolls Royce, or only a BMW. We stick to our companies. There's those cases of us, myself for example, only Corolla or Camry, nothing else is going to work. So there's those of us. And there's those of us then who like, leasing cars. Every other month, a new car. Every 2 months, a new car. Every 6 months, I want a new car. I can't stay with the same thing. So this is how the human being is. The human being gets bored of what he has very quickly. He buys a Mercedes or the BMW, the first 2 weeks he's kicking in it. He feels like a star. He's shining in the streets. He thinks everyone's looking at him. Even if people aren't, he thinks people are looking at him. But then 2 months or 3 months down the line, a year down the line, even he doesn't know what he's driving. The people are going, what a nice car. Yeah, it's a good car. Even he doesn't realize what he has. The human being gets bored of what he has real quick. So then what happens is, now if a person gets bored of the girl that he's having an affair with, he's going to go to the next, then the next, and the next. And what happens? This builds an obsession with this act. He becomes obsessed with this. And he becomes so obsessed with this that when the next time he goes to look for the next partner, or the next affair that he's going to look into, he won't just go into the affair. His obsession becomes such that he has to look for something that was better than the past. He has to look for something that was better than the past, otherwise he'll never be happy. So for example, if he had, one guy had normal rice. How did the rice taste? Oh, it tastes amazing. First time the person had rice. Then you ask him, then you put a little masala in there, make some pulao out of it. How did the pulao taste? Oh, it's amazing. Then you make biryani. Oh my God, the biryani was awesome. Then you give the guy white rice again. Get out of here, man. I'm not going to eat the white rice. Give me some sarang with it. Give me some soup with it. Then I'm going to eat. Otherwise, the white rice means nothing to me. So now when he's going stage to stage, the previous becomes useless to him. He now is in an obsession. He's now in a place that every day he has to look for something that's better. Every day he has to look for something that's better. Every day he's looking for something that's better. And until he doesn't find something better, his desires will never be fulfilled. Her desires will never be fulfilled. And the only criteria now is beauty. The only criteria left now is beauty. A person is beautiful, a person who was granted with beauty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this person becomes the most respectful person in our society. And the person who unfortunately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give the best of looks, a person who's normal looking, a person who doesn't fit our criteria of beauty, we define what beauty is. Beauty is in the whole, what's the saying?
Eyes of the beholder.
Eyes of the beholder, yes. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, subhanAllah. We know this off by heart. So, we decide what beauty is. Meaning decide what beauty is. No one can come and tell me what beauty is. No one can come and tell me that, a person with a long nose is beautiful. I decide that. Who are you to tell me that? No one can come and tell me that a tall person is beautiful. No, I decide that. Who are you to tell me that? So beauty is in my eyes and your eyes. So now this person, the person who doesn't fit that criteria of our society, he doesn't fit this criteria, that person is useless altogether. And this has come into existence within our society, whether we accept it or not. I know one person myself, I'm not sure if relative, but very far, refused to get married for 35 years because the person he's looking for doesn't have the exact description that he's looking for. Doesn't have the exact description. He had one picture, he looked at it very carefully, he said no. So the family member said, how could he say no? MashaAllah, she's a very good looking sister. Why don't you get married to her? He says, under her makeup she's hiding some spots there. SubhanAllah. So now the criteria goes so high that a person now, he's obsessed with it. And there's no way that there's anything that can ever please this person. So now,